Flowers bloom. Flowers bloom at night. It's not scary. Flowers bloom. Flowers blooming. It's not scary. Thank you. Thank you.
You should have done that in Korean.
The cringe maxed moment of the year goes to...
It's just funny that I know kind of what bloom sounds like in Korean.
What does it sound like?
It's like P something. P is something. Yeah.
Oh.
And I only know this because of one thing.
Can we get the Le Seraphim out of the way before the opening credits, please?
Men are only interested in one thing, and it's Le Seraphim.
Yeah.
I'm Wilson Lai.
I'm Benjamin Yap.
I'm Eli Sands.
You're listening to Deep Cut.
On Deep Cut, we compare a director's most popular film with a personal favorite chosen by one of us.
We also discuss that director's life and career to bring in context that helps us view their movies as they may want us to.
If you're enjoying the show, please rate and subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts to help others discover the show. Better still, you can leave a review for us on Apple Podcasts or comment on our episodes directly on Spotify. Get us to 100 Spotify reviews. Just give us a rating.
Please.
Oh, yeah.
You can also find us at deepcutpod.com to find links to our socials, Discord, and Patreon. Maybe we hit 100 by the time this episode comes out.
That thought just crossed my mind.
If we did, then get us to 200.
Yeah. And if we're already there, get us to 300.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
share us with all your friends.
And you know what? Your enemies.
Especially your enemies.
Yeah. Inflict us upon your enemies.
You know what? Share us with the parents of the person that you are dating.
Yes, who you haven't met for 3 years.
Today's movie, we're going to be talking about exactly that. Today's episode is continuing our now close to longest running series on a director. The director is the prolific Korean auteur Hong Sang-soo.
We're like Long Sang-soo.
You can catch other episodes on Hong, including 104, where we introduce Hong and talk about Women on the Beach, 105, where we talk about Night and Day, 121, where we talk about On the Beach at Night Alone, 122, where we talk about Ben's favorite, Yourself and Yours.
He's only halfway through the list.
124, where we have a really special guest, Dennis Lim, to come on to talk about the novelist film. And 125, where we have another really awesome guest to come on to talk about Hill of Freedom, and that is Ryan Swen. And here we are today, finally, after 6 features, we have gotten to a point where we're doing an upkeep of the most recent Hong Sang-soo film, which was released in 2025. What does that nature say to you?
Was that the only one that came out?
Yeah, he's slowing down.
Bro
He's
slipped.
slowing
Oh,
down.
no.
Wait, Traveler's Needs... I guess was semi-20. It came out in 2025 in the US, but came out in 2024 elsewhere. But man, slowing down maybe.
Got a baby.
He got a baby. He got baby to take care of at home.
He has baby that he cares about.
Yes. What does that nature say to you? Tells the story of Dong-hwa, who is a poet who is in his 30s. He is the son of a really famous lawyer, and he offers to drive his girlfriend back to her family home to drop her off for a holiday. And when he drops her off, he admires this magnificent house that her father has built on the side of this mountain. One thing leads to another, and he ends up meeting his girlfriend's family. He stays much longer than expected, and conversations and alcohol ensue, and we have a really big party to talk about, a meeting the parents party. So We are going to be going into spoilers in this discussion. If you haven't seen the movie, please be warned. We will be talking about many things that happen in this movie. With Hong movies, I don't really think it matters if you get spoiled. Like, I know there are plot things that happen, but I think it's the experience of watching the film itself is the most like crucial part to a Hong film. So before we start talking about this movie in detail, I do want to ask you boys, what does that nature say to you?
Good.
Do you want a real answer to that question? Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Maybe not what does that nature say to you, but what are your general reactions to what does that nature say to you?
What do I say to what does that nature say to you?
Exactly.
Man, is it bad to admit that maybe of all the Hong men, this is the one that I think is most like me?
I disagree.
I was like, I think I see too much of myself in this, and I'm okay with it. Like, I knew people were saying that it's another pathetic Hong man. I was like, damn it. As I was watching it, I was like, huh.
He's a good one, though. I think he's top tier pathetic Hong man.
I think of all his like pathetic Hong men, this is one of the more subtle critiques of men, or like a kind of man. Like, this is, for the first hour, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, nothing's happening. Why is everyone just trying to be pleasant? Like, I was like, where's this going? And then like there's a flash of like, okay, and then it disappears almost like immediately as well. I don't know how I feel about it. It's not one of my favorites from Hong, which it joins the ranks of many other Hongs that are just like in the middle of the pack. But it's definitely interesting. And I think maybe also possibly more confident because it's a bit subtle. But I'm also like, some of these scenes I'm like, I could do without. This thing doesn't need to be 100 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, yeah, maybe it could have been shorter.
It is uncharacteristically long for a Hong Sang-soo film.
Yeah.
I mean, there are long ones, but I guess they kind of justify their length. This one, I'm like, I don't know. Like, this is like pretty simple as an idea, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hong's gotten very like, yeah, whatever, about the way that he constructs them. And I guess maybe that also gives them a bit more a sense of reality because there's so much stuff that's like not that useful, but that's also like life. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's the point. I don't know. And also, why the hell does this movie look like this?
240p.
I do have an answer for you. We can go into it later.
I don't want the answer, but it truly looks like something I downloaded off the internet in 2005.
Yeah, that's reflected in your Letterboxd review when you put a torrent file name as your
Really
Letterboxd
good review. Really good review.
I did research to do that one, you know. I was like, what are the terms they use? And you know, I found out you can find that on Wikipedia. Like a table describing all the terms that different people that upload illegal files to the internet use as a sort of standardized terminology. And I was like, wow, pirates actually like somehow disorganized and decentralized and somehow formed a system of nomenclature together. Insane. Like, incredible.
Pirate culture.
Yeah.
Pirate linguistics.
Yeah. And one of them is a Wikipedia fan.
Arr, mighty.
Arr, matey, I have a 4K rip of Dune 2.
More like, I have a 120p rip of the new Hong Sang-soo movie. Want it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Eli, how about you?
Also not my favorite Hong. I'd put it pretty low on the ranking. I didn't hugely dislike it, but it was one of the more predictable Hongs that we've watched, I think. Whereas I could trust the others to be driven by the character's decision-making. The situation is what drives the plot here. And I was waiting the entire time for something to blow up in this situation between the wannabe poet meeting his girlfriend's parents for the first time. And lo and behold, it blows up. So I don't hate it, but definitely not my favorite Hong. And also just the cringe factor is off the charts constantly in this movie.
Which parts? Because to be honest, I was like, I guess I see the cringe, but I don't feel the cringe.
I was feeling it. I was feeling it real bad.
It was dripping. It was dripping.
I mean, the poetry.
Oof. Wilson, what's your kind of reaction to it before we talk about this man?
Yeah, I feel like I do fall in the same category as you guys. It's always a joy when a new Hong Sang-soo comes out, and I'll take whatever he is serving on the plate, honestly. But I would say that this probably lands on the lower end of my Hong Sang-soo list. Still a lot to love, though. I do like this sort of progression with presenting pathetic Hong male as being a little more nuanced, dealing with a little more issues. Maybe we're getting to maybe some root causes of some things. And I think having some, by now, regular Hong players like Ha Sung-guk and Kwon Hae-hyo go toe-to-toe in this, it's really great. And now that we've sort of covered movies that all of these actors have basically been in, except for the girlfriend, Kang So-yi, I think we've talked about movies with all the other players. It feels very comfortable. And I also really love this house and the location that this story is set in. And I think it's really appropriate and sort of building up in chapters, like numerical chapters, until we get to the big chapter 8 where the shit goes down. I think it was a good structuring device. And honestly, I would push back against both of you who were saying that, oh, you're waiting for something to happen, because I was already getting a lot out of what was already happening. Like, I feel like these microaggressions that were being put forward to this boyfriend or I feel like it's a rightful microaggressions that were happening, but it was pretty funny to see him deflect or act like he didn't hear what was happening when asked these continuous questions about his damn car, his damn mustache, and his damn dad.
I wouldn't say that I was waiting for something to happen. I was waiting for the thing to go wrong. Like, the whole movie is hinging on this one crash out, which I knew was coming in one way or another.
Yeah, it's just interesting that you call those the microaggressions, because when I was watching it, I was like, I mean, I guess it's okay, but like, I guess I could tell, I think tell that they're meant to be a little annoying from a meta perspective. But I think when I was watching it, I was like, this still seems kind of chill. And I was like, also, why is everyone glazing him? I'm like confused. And I was like, is the glazing also supposed to be annoying? But he seems to be enjoying it. I'm confused.
No, but look how simple or how easy it is to glaze him and get him to be like, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. Oh, yeah, I just grew it out myself. Oh, I got it secondhand for a cheap price.
I think my experience in this movie is so different. Because I'm like, I've literally been in that position.
No.
When people, and then I'm like, this is the correct response. Or like, what else are you going to do?
Cut to me pointing and laughing at Ha Sung-guk's character in this movie. I'm like, yeah, you stupid butt.
As a man who has gotten many comments about my beard, because like, oh man, Asian person that can grow a beard, it's incredible. Like, I do not know how to respond to that. I'm like, yeah, that's just how my genes are. I'm like, okay.
That's better than I grew it myself.
I guess. So did I. So I'm just like, yeah, like, it is annoying, but like, I guess it's like, whether it's annoying and you get worked up, or it's annoying and you let it go. And I guess for him, he's getting worked up, but like, it only really, I think, shows for me much later. In the moment, he seems okay with it. And I don't know whether that's the right choice. Because watching him get assaulted by this doesn't feel like much to me watching it.
Interesting. Okay, let's get into it. But I think I'll have like a little bit of just the shortest of context for this. I did watch the Q&A that Hong gave at the Berlinale, and if you are a critic and you're attending festivals and you're listening to this podcast, I think before you go to a Hong Sang-soo Q&A, just be aware that he's not going to answer any of your fucking questions properly. Everyone's like, oh, what do you mean when this, like, oh, are you talking about poetry? Like, what are you talking about when you're talking about art and like, oh, appreciation of nature? And he's like, sorry, I'm not going to answer your question. I write the scripts the night before and I give it to my actors and things just come to me. And just take that what you will. I have no intentions. I have no meaning. Like, he's like, it may even seem like I have meaning, but there's no meaning. I'm like, well, great. Thank you, Hong Sang-soo, for 30 minutes of my time.
He's like David Lynch not explaining his movies, except he doesn't know how to explain his movies, even if he wanted to.
Eraserhead is my most spiritual film. Can you explain that? No.
But I will say maybe it feels like a very casual film in his filmography, maybe even for like a throwaway-ish film in his filmography. I mean, if you compare this to something like On the Beach at Night Alone or Yourself and Yours, or even the Novelist film, like they feel very much tied to Hong as a person, the things going on in his life. This feels a little further, even though it sort of discusses this dynamic between older folks and people our age in our 30s. I think if you want something more of like what Hong is feeling about that particular subject personally, I would suggest something like A Walk Up, which is sort of tangentially about his relationship with his adult children that he has from a previous marriage.
I read this Letterboxd review about how apparently this is like maybe inspired by something that happened to Ha Sung-gook.
Which is interesting because he's been making movies about his actors. Like Kwon Hae-yeho, you could say, is the inspiration for By the Stream. So Ha Sung-gook and Hong have been working together for a few years now. He's sort of like growing in his presence in Hong films. And Hong says he was at a party with Ha Sung-gook. His girlfriend, who is Kang So-yi, who plays his girlfriend in this film. So this is sort of the birth of this. And Hong met Kang So-yi through Ha Sung-gook, and he was like, my girlfriend is waiting for me outside this party. She's picking me up, but she also wants to act. And Hong was like, oh, yeah, great. You can join my movies. And now she's been in A Traveler's Needs and this one. So there's probably 10 more for Kang So-yi. But yeah, Nepo girlfriend turned into on-screen girlfriend for Ha Sung-gook.
Wait, Ha Sung-gook is doing good. I think he's exactly like this character.
maybe.
I'm okay to relate to him. He's my idol right now.
He's your goat. So what Hong did before coming up with the idea with this movie, Kang So-yi was talking about her family's home, which is in the countryside, and she invited Hong and Ha Sung-gook to her parents' house. They both met. Well, I'm sure Ha Sung-gook has probably met her parents already. He's not like Dong-hwa in this movie. Maybe. But Hong was like, oh, we visited the home. It was really lovely. And they cooked me a really nice chicken dish. And that is the inspiration that I took and made this movie. I got literally nothing else from this interview or this Q&A session except for a question where they were asking, this looks like in water. What was your decision to shoot this so out of focus? And he was like, oh, the first day of my shooting is very important because I have to make decisions with cinematography and with writing and set the rules for this film that I have to abide by. And he was like, when I was taking my first shot, I made the camera a little out of focus and it felt right. So I just kept it.
Okay.
So
he made it or he did it by accident?
No, he said he thought a lot about it. He thought for a long time about it. So I think this is an intentional choice, whether you like it or not. He is thinking about how out of focus or in focus his movies are.
It is more in focus than in water.
Yes. Yes, it is. That's why he said a little out of focus.
Yeah. It looks less like it's out of focus than it's just a shitty rip.
Yeah, it's like 240p.
It actually doesn't look like it's out of focus. It just looks 480p or less.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
camera was he shooting on?
I don't know. We can find that out. But he shot it himself. He produced, he wrote, he edited, he did the music. The only other person listed in the credits creatively is his sound mixer on set. So we're very much in this era of Hong Sang-soo films.
His Wiseman era.
Yeah, he should go find Frederick Wiseman to do his sound.
Legendary team up.
That would be incredible. Okay, there's a lot of different directions that we can take this conversation. Maybe we can talk about this character of Dong-hwa first. And I guess what makes him stand out in this really wide plethora of Hong men that we have gotten and we've talked about on this podcast.
Well, I think whereas in other Hong movies, the pathetic male is the main problem, there's sort of an ecosystem of problems going on here. It's not just Dong-hwa who is kind of a little turd. It's basically this entire family too.
I do feel that. I think just this idea that these three other members of Junhee's family has been hearing about Dong-hwa for years, and Dong-hwa has refused to meet them for 3 years, sort of sets them up to, if I was in that situation, I would like sort of be passive aggressive, a bit of a dick to this guy, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like they're very much justified in their reactions initially and continually through this film to this man, right? This basic man-child that appears in their home and is like, oh, I'm the star boy, but in actuality, he hasn't really done much.
But then the other thing is that they're not able to update their reading of him based on what he says. In that conversation between the mom and dad in the dad's kind of hideout shed after the dinner that goes wrong, it's clear that they've not listened to the content of what he's actually said about himself. And they're sort of going by the most off-the-cuff assumptions about who he was from the start of the day. In terms of his reliance or not reliance on his dad, on how much he actually wants to be a poet. He downplays it. He's like, yeah, I mean, I write some poetry. And they latch onto this idea that he wants to be a big poet.
Yeah. I don't feel like people are being passive aggressive necessarily, in that they're just like, because it's their first time meeting him, they just like keep making small talk with him, with the only things that they know about him is that he's a poet, he has an old ass car, and he's trying to grow a beard.
Yeah.
Like, there's like 3 things going on, and there's the only things they talk about with him. And it's less that it's passive aggressive, but more like it's extremely superficial, the way that they talk about anything in this.
Whose fault do you think that is, though? Who, like, I guess you could really read it in different ways.
We live in a society.
And also, I think it is partially at Dong-hwa's feet because he never turns the questions back around to the other people. Like, of course, the conversation's going to start off with them asking about him, but he never asks about them. And I think that is represented in that big, awful dinner scene by how the father keeps on refilling Dong-hwa's glass and Dong-hwa never offers to refill the father's glass, which is a big taboo.
It's also a Korean thing, right? Where the younger member is traditionally required to do the filling and also turn away when he drinks. He does do a little bit of the turning away, but he does not fill the girlfriend's father's glass at all.
Yeah, that felt glaring.
The big motif that repeats is the line he keeps saying, which is that you guys can speak comfortably around me, which maybe like is translated to help us understand as like English speakers, but like obviously refers to some sort of like speech politeness which
Yes.
has like, I don't fucking know what they are. There's like 5 levels of politeness in Korean.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know how they are actually speaking to him, but I think it's interesting because it's odd for the younger person to request casualness, I guess.
Mhm.
Right? Like it's weird for him to be like trying to dictate the terms of their politeness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which means he's feeling uncomfortable because the context of right now is that he feels like he's being treated like an outsider, right? Because politeness usually means I'm polite because I don't know you. So that's interesting, but I guess like harder to feel watching it with subtitles on and not understanding what they're saying.
He also makes his own slew of assumptions about the family, though he may not explicitly reveal it. Like that whole weird conversation on the hilltop when he says, I'll love Junhee just like you love her to the dad. To assume that you understand at all the relationship between a father and a daughter after like 20 minutes of meeting the dad, that's a huge leap. And I think kind of speaks to his reductiveness before we even hear how simplistic his poetry is.
And even when he talks about Junhee and just his relationship with Junhee, it is all like really blankety statements, right? He's like, he just always goes to resort to be like, I call her my angel.
Right.
And you're like, dude, like, what are you like? There's no substance to what you're seeing in this girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I do really sort of like how things catch up to him in the end, and he's sort of gets the shitty ending that he deserves as like a mildly shitty ending for a mildly shitty character, where his car breaks down on the side of the road, and the last line of the film is like, "I should change my car." I thought that was really great.
Yeah, it's like it plays like a button on a farce.
Yes. Very much like The Mastermind.
It's interesting because I find myself having a lot of empathy for Ha Sung-gook because I don't, like, when I say I relate to him, I think I really understand what's going through his mind.
Okay, tell us then. Tell us, what do you think is going through his mind?
No, I'm just like, I feel like I have been in situations like this. And sometimes I have a similar self-critique of myself, the way that we are so critiquing him as well, right? And I'm like, yeah, like, I guess because I have my own data about myself, I'm like, yeah, I can see that this man exists. Because the other Hong men, to me, feel so crazy and they're like so out of my reality that sometimes I don't understand them. But I'm sure those kinds of men / Korean men exist. There are definitely stereotypes like that. But I'm always like find them so frustrating to watch because I'm just like, why are you like this? I don't understand how your brain works. But like, I think the timidity of Ha Sung-gook, I understand. You can kind of read it as like, yeah, he's being superficial, but it's also he's a kind of a people pleaser. He's trying to not rock the boat, is how I read it. Right. And so he says the most superficial, insubstantial stuff because he doesn't know what to say to his girlfriend's parents that he is meeting for the first time in 3 years. And that's like, honestly, like a very awkward situation always, like meeting your partner's parents.
And he wasn't planning on meeting them that day. He wasn't
Yeah.
planning on staying for more than 5 minutes, which turns into a whole day, which turns into overnight.
Yeah, so he's put in a position that like he's not prepared for and he's also not built for. So
Yeah, definitely not built for.
definitely very
No.
difficult. And I'm like, well, I feel like I have been in this situation before. And I'm also very likely to be in this situation again in my life. And I'm like, yeah, I lock up and I don't know what the fuck to do in these situations. So I have a lot of sympathy for him compared to the more belligerent men that Hong has subjected us to, right? Who to me are like less forgivable because I'm just like, why are you such an asshole? But that I think comes into like maybe a personal judgment of the emotion of anger because like those are angry young men or angry older men sometimes, a lot of times. Whereas this is like, what is your read on passiveness or cowardliness, which is like a very different version of the normal Hong men. So I think it's interesting. Like, I think there is a critique here for sure. There's a patheticness to the men, but because I understand it, it's like I get it. It's like kind of like a alpha / beta male kind of like dichotomy in Hong men. But he's done a lot of the alphas.
Yeah. And it is quite fitting that this takes place in a story that it's not like sort of like a Romare moral tale where he's choosing between different women, which we've seen quite a bit in Hong movies. Rather, he's like sort of trying to show that he can be the right man for this woman to her family, which is a dynamic that we haven't really seen in Hong movies. Even though this very much still feels like a Hong movie, the situation itself is kind of new.
It's not frequent that there are parents in Hong movies.
No, not really. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting a little bit of new ones, but yeah, the setup is very new. We talk about the microaggressions, or I was talking about the microaggressions that were happening around him. And I think the one that stings Ha Seung-guk's character the most is this connection that with his father, who is a hotshot lawyer. It is Junhee, his girlfriend's sister, Yoonghee, who can't drop the fact that he can always get bailed out by his dad. So she keeps on saying that, oh, but you always have your dad. You always have your dad.
Your dad's behind you.
Yeah. And that is what sets Dong-hwa off in this dinner. And he gets in a rage because he doesn't want to be seen as, and he probably is no longer daddy's little boy. I thought that this was a really interesting plot device or narrative situation that we found ourselves in, because I do see a lot of those similarities in people around me that grew up really wealthy and is trying to make things for themselves, but still has the backing of family money, whether or not they choose or not to take it.
It is interesting, actually, like the way that the sister talks about it and that he blows up. Because when I was watching the scene, I was looking for the trigger, because I was like, people are talking about how he blows up at his dinner scene. And I was like, oh, who's going to say the thing? And when it happened, I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought I missed the trigger.
Well, it's so interesting because she says something about your dad's always behind you. The conversation moves on. He recites his poetry from memory, which is the thing I said at the top of the episode.
Yeah.
Flowers bloom at night. And then she says something in response to his poetry. And then he goes off on her about the earlier dad comment.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because I think what's nice about the way that the character is constructed is that, like, this microaggression, I guess, I think you can read as not intentional at all. Like, it's not like she is saying you are a daddy's boy. She's saying that I think I'm reading in the way that this character plays, because she seems to really like Dong-hwa, generally speaking.
Yeah. She spends the day together.
Yeah, and like she seemed to really like him, and like not in a disingenuous way. So then for me, the read is I think she's trying to express the idea that you are safe because your dad is around, and that's good and that's great. You're lucky. And I think he reads it as like the worst version of that, right? Like, you're saying that I'm dependent on my father, or like that my father is the only reason I'm allowed to live this way. So I think it's definitely like this very subtle expression of the character as a sort of insecure man, and that insecurity comes from him less so than the pressure of the people around him.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that remark, I agree with you, Ben, accidental microaggression comes from Yoonghee, who we learn through other characters has a fraught relationship with her own father. She maybe even is envious of or projects onto what she imagines Dong-hwa's relationship with his father could be or might be, and winds up stepping in the hornet's nest.
Mm-hmm. Yoonghee as a character who's the younger sister, but did really, really well academically according to her older sister, who's explaining her life to Dong-hwa, and ends up dealing with some mental health issues and really taking a step back from, I guess, working or I guess actively participating in society in quotation marks, and is living at home right now.
In a way, she's the reverse because she actively depends on her parents.
Yeah.
And she's okay with it, but they're not okay with it.
And they never talk about or to her, really.
Yeah. So it makes sense that she's the one that maybe is a bit more hung up on the fact that he has a, I guess she thinks, more supportive father, but maybe she's wrong. She doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Could be.
But to me, she's kind of innocent and like it's just kind of there. Like she doesn't know anything. She's just like talking randomly. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then it's like when you meet her, she's, because like they kind of like set her up and they're like, oh yeah, she's got like mental illness and like, but then you meet her and she seems perfectly pleasant and fine.
Well, I think she lightly brings other people down, especially her sister and Dong-hwa. Again, not maliciously or on purpose, but, you know, she sort of asks these needling questions of her sister about her relationship with Dong-hwa. When you guys going to get married? Where do you go for those 2 years that you were broken up? And I think because of her arguably own insecurity, she finds the weak points in other people's psyche and kind of needles into it there.
Could very much be, yeah.
Then what about the girlfriend? Played by
She is almost a non-entity in this movie in a way that I find kind of frustrating.
She spends a lot of time on the sidelines, watching stuff and not really commenting on them.
Yeah, she's almost not an active participant.
Yeah.
It was funny because there was a European critic who was asking a question during the Q&A, and she was like, what time period is this movie set? Because I don't see any signs of physical affection between these two people. I cannot even tell that they like each other. But I think she was trying to make a dig at how they're not kissing or they're not holding each other throughout this movie. There is no heat or romance in this relationship. And we're basically seeing it fizzle out right before our eyes. This is like sort of the last hours of this relationship. Like, she's like, I'll see you back in Seoul. I don't think they're going to see each other back in Seoul, honestly.
I don't know if I read it the same way, guys.
Really?
But I don't know if I read it anything, really. Because, like, I think it's not true that there's no physical. There's like I think, I guess there isn't. But I don't know. I just find it interesting.
The man changed his mind so quickly.
No, like I realized the only physical part is when she tells him to shut the fuck up at the dinner.
Yeah, and then drags him out of the dinner table. He's like, I'm not drunk. You're drunk.
And there's a hug. Yeah, the hug at the end.
Yes.
Which is a very awkward hug.
Yeah. Yes. No, I was just thinking, I was like, this is me reading her through the lens of other people. And like her sister is like, she values really a lot, and like she chooses her men very carefully. So I'm like, okay, the fact that she spent 3 years with him means she likes something about him. Right? And so to me, I'm just like, the fact that she hasn't like lost her shit, what does that mean? Does it mean that she's just like is actually really in love with him in some way? And that she's just sticking by him for some reason. We don't know what that reason is.
Well, the sister is also judging her character and values in terms of picking men on a like 15 plus year old story.
True.
So it's possible she's changed and the sister just doesn't really know how Junhee makes her decisions.
Well, she spent 3 years with him, so I don't know.
People passively exist in bad relationships for years all the time.
They do.
I think because we don't really see much of like the glimmers of the two of them. I guess they have that conversation at the temple where she tells him to not be so sure about things. And he's like, I'm so sure that I don't know anything.
He's such a dick to her, though. He's like, you need to feel things. You need to be grateful for your life. And I'm like,
don't know anything,
dude. Yeah.
This pseudo-profound nonsense.
That's me.
No, but you're actually profound.
You need to stop putting yourself in Ha Sung-gook's shoes in this movie. Like, it's actually not going to do you good.
I know. No, what you have to understand is that the way that I see myself is the way that you guys see Ha Sung-gook.
No.
Because I say stuff that is like, yeah, I think that's dumb. And I think I'm saying dumb things.
But we think you're smart.
That's how I perceive this movie. I'm like, wow, this is how I see myself in this movie that's making fun of this man. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, am I him or am I just judging myself poorly?
Well, maybe the takeaway then is that we're our own harshest critics, except for Hong Sang-soo, because he's everyone else's harshest critic.
Yes.
No, okay. So, I mean, that's the question of like, where is Hong in this? Like, where does...
Yeah.
Like, I mean, is he this Hong self-insert? Because, like, do you think Hong is the shitty man that he used to depict, or do you think Hong is more like this man? Because based on just his look and the way that he... I don't know, like, I feel like when I think about him walking, it's not very fast, and it's, like, kind of hunched over and, like, quiet. And so, to me, if Hong is any of this dichotomy, he's gotta be the beta Hong man. Right? I mean, this is just like a speculation.
Or like this is how he sees himself, kind of. Like the worst of what he sees in himself.
Where Kwang Hae-yo, the father, like is like, this guy's dangerous. And
Right.
he's like, he pretends to be deep and that's how he gets to women. And then he's actually bad. And I was like, wait a minute.
Describing a soft boy.
No, but think about it. Is that Hong and also his movies?
Mm.
He makes these movies that people read so much into, and then it turns out there's nothing there, and he admits it.
No substance.
And yet everyone's just like clamoring for more information. They're like, oh, there's so much more here. Like Hong is putting all this meaning into it. He's like, no, I'm just some guy making random shit that comes into my head. And people are eating their shit up. Exhibit Wilson.
Whereas a lot of art house filmmakers, I think, are sort of message first, intentionality, design focused. Hong clearly more kind of shoots from the hip and works from a place of immediacy and spontaneity and is like body first rather than mind first.
And I think that approach allows him to sort of go at the rate that he's been going at. Because I think if you put so much thought into movies, right, they would never come out as fast as Hong makes his movies. And this is not a dig at Hong as well. Like, I love his stupid movies. Like, I love them. And I also do think it's because I feel like no one else in the world is making movies as casually as this man is doing. And there is like sort of this power that comes from something made so off the fly or just with a group of friends that you're hanging out with and was like, and you go back to them and be like, oh, I have an idea for a movie. Let's go shoot in a couple weeks. It feels casual in the best way.
Anyway, I was being facetious when I was making my dig on Hong because I think this way of making these films in which he doesn't know what the hell they're supposed to mean means that they're actually very interesting because he's not trying to pre-bake meaning into the movie. And so that actually allows it to arise from the things that he's interested in.
Yeah.
Right.
And that makes it so that when there is meaning that happens to arise, it is more authentic and less preconceived or preconstructed in a way that feels inauthentic. Because I think a lot of filmmaking can be very moralizing because it starts from the moral first and then makes the movie to then push the moral.
Right.
Right.
But this one's like he makes the movie first and then he figures out what it's trying to say.
I like that approach.
And I think this doesn't always work out in terms of like making an interesting movie, but then it at least makes a very authentic, true to himself kind of movie. And I think that is the benefit of him working this way, in which he doesn't know what the hell he's doing in a sense. Or he doesn't know what he's trying to arrive at, and then he just gets there.
It also makes for a very interesting body of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And something very reflective of the filmmaker himself, right? I think we've talked about this at length, that his filmography is an extension of himself. And that's also why I would tune into any new Hong movie, because it's like, what is on your mind, Hong? Like, what kind of experiment or what do you want to play with in this movie?
He got that chicken on his mind.
He did have that. He made this movie just for that chicken dish that
He's
comes
like,
out.
damn, that chicken was good. I gotta make a movie. Just thinking about it now, I'm like,
Wait a minute, this gives me an idea.
because he makes the outline first, right? So
Yeah.
the outline was me and Ha Sung go to dinner. And then after that, he writes the pages the day before.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we go to dinner.
Yeah.
And what if he shoots non-linearly?
No, I think he shoots, at this point, he is shooting completely linearly.
Which makes sense, because then that actually works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a good way to work, I think. I think non-linear shooting puts you in a corner, because then you can't change your mind as you work
Yeah.
and as you feel out the story. But of course, shooting linearly is a privilege when money is riding on the line, but there is no money riding on the line here.
Yeah.
Shit looks like how it cost. It's definitely a movie that you see its budget on the screen.
Bless you, Hong Sang-soo. Never change, never stop.
He's not gonna.
Here.
He's gonna do whatever he wants. He'll change if he wants.
Oh, what's this on Variety.com? He's directing the next Marvel film? Huh. He's directing Avengers Forever Fight?
I would love to see that, actually. Actually, I would pay a lot of money to see that. On IMAX, but fully out of focus.
IMAX fully out of focus.
There'll be riots in the streets.
We should get In Water to play on an IMAX screen. Our campaign starts now.
Should get to play on the Sphere.
Yeah, in Las Vegas.
Incredible idea. Pitch it. Cinema Guild, call us.
Just get Dennis to call someone.
Yeah, he'll make it happen.
He will.
Well, imagine if that was like the AMC Stubbs secret screening. And then you watch like In Water or this, and they're like, the movie's not sharp.
The projection was broken. I think they ripped this from the Pirate Bay circa 2004.
Do you think people would be more happy with this than The Mastermind?
No, I think they would just think something is broken. like they legitimately would be like, something is broken. Because the titles are out of freaking low res, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's commitment to the bit. Like, he was just like, let me make also the parts that were not filmed out of focus.
Yeah, he ran that shit through Handbrake, bro. He ran it like 3 times through Handbrake, 480p, turn it out. Okay, send it to the Berlin International Film Festival. They'll pick it up.
Maybe he just like sends them a YouTube link and they're like, download this using whatever file service you can.
YouTube to MP4.
You like rip it off yourself.
He uploaded it to 123 Movies.
Yes.
I feel like there's an iPhone movie gonna come from him soon.
I would
I was
watch
thinking about it watching. I was like, either an iPhone movie or a vertical movie.
A vertical
Oh,
movie
yeah.
from
Like,
Hong
there's a chance.
Sang-soo.
There's a chance.
Wow.
Like something which he's like fucking with the medium in some way, or like not doing
Huh.
traditional something. Or like a movie where it's like all like the screen's just black.
Or he, you know how you can like hold up a glass and then through the bottom of it, you'll like see someone drinking like that.
Is basically In Water. Dude.
Yeah.
Or like let's come up with more Hong ideas.
Yeah.
He films the entire movie on a backup camera from a car.
Oh.
I like that.
I feel like who's done that?
That has been done. I
Actually, my
think.
friend Suyo's short film has that. Like she used a shot from a backup camera. And
I like that. I love using multi-cameras. You know, I just don't think that Hong is as adventurous stylistically as you think. I think he's just like, he just uses the tools that are available to him. That is like a shitty camcorder with a focus dial and a zoom dial. And that's like literally he'll just manipulate that as he wants. But I do not think that he's like moving away from this probably plug and play, easy to use camcorder that he's been using for the last 10 or so features that he shot by himself.
Well, here's a question. While his image quality varies, he keeps the sound quality pretty high fidelity. Do you see him experimenting with the quality of the sound?
replacing the one man that's not him on set.
Right. Just doing like in-mic sound through the camcorder.
You know what? He has done this with his soundtracks. Like, if you hear some of the soundtracks, like maybe even in the Novelist film, like some of the soundtracks that you hear being played were definitely recorded from like an iPhone microphone, like, and then like placed on top. But I don't think that he would ever sacrifice dialogue audio because dialogue is so crucial to Hong films, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like, there are things that you have to have with Hong films. And like one of these things is long dialogue scenes. Like, that's his bread and butter. That's where he shines.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think no matter what he changes the image, like he's always going to shoot every scene the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it doesn't matter what the camera is, like somehow the lens angle is always the same, like the focal length is always the same. And the way he cuts off the legs in the wide or the way that he films a table, it's always exactly the same kind of framing and like vibe, regardless of what the camera is. Which is why he only fucks with the focus.
And we love you for it. Or I love you for it.
I feel like we talked around the movie a lot. Like I was thinking about the dinner scene, and then like I had a different Letterboxd review, which is like that I was percolating but did not commit to, was like when he starts pouring that special, I don't know what the hell they're drinking, whiskey maybe. And I was like, wow, it's like an alcohol hand grenade that he's holding in his hand. And that's what really like blows everything up when he starts pouring that alcohol. Anyway, that's just a random thing I was remembering.
Yeah.
Well, another thing about the family also is that they're fixated on his reliance on his father's wealth, and they're not acknowledging that they are wealthy. Like they have this huge property and this beautiful
They
house.
have a mountain. He has a mountain.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I couldn't understand. I was like, how big is this place?
Yeah. A mountain versus a mustache.
MF.
Flip it around. Wicked witch.
How long are we going to be doing this?
Activated our vocal stem. 6'7". Sorry.
6'7". There is a sign in this movie that says 267, and I sent to Wilson and Ben a video of that scene.
Not even a screenshot. Like, let me screen record my computer. What other scenes here are sticking out to you guys? Is it just the dinner scene that really like clinches it for you?
I was thinking about some of the framing of like the conversations. Kind of interesting that he did a lot of like scenes from people's backs, which feels peculiar, actually. And to be honest, like I found kind of beautiful. I thought the scene of them looking out towards the mountain,
getting there, yeah,
and like the way that they kind of angle themselves towards each other, and like it's kind of profile but not really fully, and they're drinking makgeolli. Yeah, and it's just like looks nice and a bit kind of like French overs, but no overs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys know what French over the shoulders are?
Yeah, but there's no view.
Yeah, there's no reverse and there's no shot. It's just the two shot.
No shot. There's no
just
shot.
the two shot. And then he does it again when they're in the temple and he's talking to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
That feels like a choice that's a little different from usual. Because I feel like he's usually quite straight on or like profile with people just talking to each other, like standing around or at a table. So this feels different for some reason. I guess that means that a lot of the film is about looking out, like looking at a temple or looking at a tree or looking at the mountain or looking at the view.
Well, they also have concurrently a lot of conversations about beauty and what thing is more beautiful than another, like the pagodas or the car or the poems, the trees. And I read it as being a metaphor for, like, they're talking about Junhee without talking about her, like kind of objectifying her metaphorically. Especially with the pagoda, they're talking about these two different ones and comparing them. And this one took more work to build up, but Dong-hwa thinks this one is more beautiful. And it's like a comparison of Junhee and her sister indirectly.
I did not read that, but
I can see
okay.
it. Like, yeah.
It's like this sister kind of asking for a judgment from Dong-hwa on her versus her sister indirectly.
And you can also say that there's the comparison between Dong-hwa and the sister as well.
Right.
So then there's another doubling there, which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. A lot of these conversations weren't really doing too much for me, to be honest. I was like, it's not that interesting.
Yeah.
I was finding them to be really interesting, but not really digging deeper and just really taking them at face value. I was like, oh, Dong-hwa is like in his like silent friend moment. Like this is he's Tony Leung in that movie falling in love with a ginkgo tree. Like that's the tree that he falls in love with, White Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they talk about a ginkgo tree in this one, right? That's the grandmother's tree in this one, right? Is that a ginkgo tree? I remember a subtitle that says ginkgo tree.
Oh.
Interesting connection. But I also think that there's sort of a fakeness when it comes to like appreciating nature or appreciating beauty, I feel, from Dong-hwa.
It's shallow.
It is quite shallow. And one of the most glaring moments that I see this in is the 2 times that he passes this grandmother tree, this tree that's dedicated to Junhee's grandmother. And the first time he visits it with the father and he bows in front of the tree. He like kneels to the ground and bows his head to the ground. And the father's really taken aback and brings it up later on. He's like, oh, he did this in front of the tree. And then in that ending section, in the middle of the night, after he wakes up in this blind of our drunken rage for this family, he wakes up sobered up and he wanders up into the hills and sort of really brushes past the tree, like gives it a look. Like definitely in my head, he's acknowledging that's the grandmother tree, and then just like pays it no mind. And I feel like there's something in that moment where he sort of reveals that his respect for the tree, the grandmother, is fake. That is why he falls. Like that's my theory. That like
I like that.
The grandmother's spirit's like, yeah, fuck you. Goodbye. Get off my property. Get off my home.
What you make me think about is that I guess the thing that we haven't even mentioned is that maybe this is like Hong's little treatise on like the performative male.
Ooh.
Right? Because we haven't even dropped this term yet, which I think maybe like makes more sense when they think about it
It's
that way.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is currently in the zeitgeist and do not know if it will be when we release this episode.
But 6-7 will definitely stick around.
If he was drinking matcha, then I'll be like, yeah, Hong's definitely thinking about this. I don't think he's thinking about it. It just happens to be a thing that dovetails with what other people are talking about.
Yeah. I do see performative maleness in Dong-hwa's character, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think
That's all I got.
we're good. I think we're good.
That's all I got. That's all the nature said to me.
Yeah, that is all the nature said to us. And this will probably be a long while before we return to the world of Hong Sang-soo.
Hopefully.
It will probably be until maybe next March when we maybe see one premiering at Berlin, and then maybe next fall, or Cannes maybe, and then next fall when we'll get it in our hands and we'll get to review
Or
it.
he should take care of his child and not fuck it up again.
Wow. Yikes.
Presuming that this is the baby that he cares about. Hopefully he does.
Yeah.
He's also old.
He's old. He can take a 14-day break from his baby to shoot a movie. Come on.
I can't wait for this baby to make movies about absent fathers. In like 25 years. And we're like, whoa.
Yikes. Yikes.
That would be incredible.
But I guess any last words after this long and lengthy year that we've had with Hong Sang-soo on the Deep Cut podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we had this upkeep to cap it off, because I think especially thinking about his immediacy and sort of shooting from the hip nature of production as standing in contrast to how most of the art house appreciating world approaches movie watching as like looking for meaning first. Hong standing in challenge to that approach to viewing is, I think, such a necessary addition to the world cinema and the deep cut canons. I'm really glad that we did a deep dive on him, and I have such more appreciation for him as an artist than I did before. So thank you for leading us into it, Wilson.
Oh, it's not just me. It was a lot of it was Ben, maybe the AFA.
I think we wouldn't have done it without you.
Well, the AFA thing really forced our hand. We're like, okay, we gotta do this now.
yeah.
That was kind of interesting.
Yes.
I do think that I think Hong shows us a way that is different. And I think that's important.
Yes.
I think it is important.
Yes.
I think this way has to be the way that he does it because of what you said, Eli, which is that people look for meaning first. So if he wanted to make one of these projects with a proper funding body, they will ask him, what does it mean? And he'll be like, I do not know.
And he would get no money.
Exactly. And so he has no choice but to make it the way that he makes it and for them to be like this. And based on what I said before, like, this is the nature of the kind of filmmaking that he's doing. And like, it's almost like it has to be like this for him to make films like this. And I guess for us to receive films like this, they have to be kind of jank and like kind of like experimental in terms of like whether they're going to work narratively.
Yeah.
Because some Hong films, I'm like, I don't know what this is. You know, I see the experiment and it's not working.
And that's all right.
I'll take that gamble.
Yeah, and exactly, it's all right. And also because it was cheap, it's fine. That's like something I always appreciate from Hong, at least. And I'm glad he's slowing down. Gives us less to do.
It's a lot to mull over, though, Ben. I feel like you've both sort of put out things about Hong and his filmography and the way that he makes movies that are really essential to understanding him. And I feel very grateful that you guys have agreed. And now we've ended up making 7 episodes on Hong in the last year. So I am very grateful for the airtime on this podcast.
He said about to ask us to watch Lav Diaz movies.
And he wants to do like 7, which is going to take like how many years of my life?
Maybe 2 years. We'll see. So the next big Wilson project on Deep Cut is probably going to take a couple years to come to light. So you guys come back, like restream those Hong episodes. Well, I don't know. Restream all our episodes. I'm very proud of how this series came together, even if the AFA really forced our hand. I'm really happy with the guests that we've had. Like, there have been really banger guests on this series. Big shout out to the GOAT, Dennis Lim. Like, we would not be here. I would not be here without your writing about Hong Sang-soo. And you've definitely given me the context and the structure in which to view Hong films and to bring Hong films to this podcast. And I think it made it necessary for us to go to such lengths and to watch this many movies in order to paint a very full picture of this director and his work. So massive thank you to Dennis, but also to other guests, Ryan Swen and Alexander Lee, who have joined us through this Hong journey. If you're a critic and you're listening to this Hong series and you want to come on to talk about the newest release, you can email us at hello@deepcutpod.com. And yeah, for now, that's a little bit of
Or if you're Kim Min-hee or Hong Sang-soo.
and
you're listening
Or
to
their
this.
child.
Yeah, you want to send us an email? Yeah.
Yes, please. hello@deepcutpod.com.
Kim Min-hee, come.
I made eye contact with her at Berlinale in like 2018 or 2019. And then I think I like died. I died. It was at the standing ovation for Not the Woman Who Ran. It was The Woman Who Ran. Yeah, it was The Woman Who Ran, which is a really good Hong movie that we have not talked about on the podcast. But I locked eyes and I was like, oh.
The Wilson who ran.
Thank you for listening to Deep Cut. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts to help others discover the show. A great way to support us is to leave a review or comment on our episodes directly on Spotify. If you want to chat with us and other fans of Deep Cut, come join our Discord server where we talk about movies, TV, music, and share what we're up to. We also have a Patreon if you'd like to support us with a monthly subscription. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters, and a very special thanks to our Patreon Deep Cut Pig supporters, Leah Lai and Nicholas Gao. You can keep up with Deep Cut on Instagram, Letterboxd, and X at Deep Cut Pod. Click the link in our description or go to deepcutpod.com to find links to everything we've mentioned here. Deep Cut is hosted and produced by us, Wilson Lai, Benjamin Yap, and Eli Sands. Our cover art is designed by Justina Yam, and our theme song is composed by the one and only Eli Sands. I'm Wilson.
I'm Ben.
I'm Eli.
Take care, and we're looking forward to talking about more movies with you next time.
Damn, I realized I've seen 21 Hong films. That's actually a lot.
21.
21.
That's not a thing.
I've seen 67 Hong films. Keep this in at the end. Keep this in.